When my daughter was 5, she asked me a question I wasn't ready for. "Dad, are you strong?" I laughed and flexed my arm like fathers usually do. "Of course I am," I told her. She touched my arm with both hands like she was checking if it was true. Then she smiled and said, "Good, because dads have to protect people." At that moment, it felt like a simple child's idea of the world. Back then she believed fathers could fix everything. Broken toys, bad dreams, thunder at night. I could pick her up with one arm, carry her through the house, and she would laugh like nothing bad could ever happen as long as I was there. But children grow, and the definition of strength changes. When she turned 13, she stopped holding my hand in public. At 15, she stopped telling me everything. At 16, conversations became shorter, not colder, just different. Sometimes she would close the door to her room and say, "I just need some time alone." I remember standing in the hallway once, staring at that closed door, realizing something strange. The little girl who once ran to me for everything was slowly building her own world, and I wasn't always invited into it. At first, I took it personally. I thought I was losing my daughter. But one evening something happened that changed the way I understood it. She came home later than usual. Not very late, but late enough that I was waiting in the living room. When she walked in, she froze when she saw me. "You're waiting for me?" she asked carefully. "Of course," I said. She rolled her eyes a little. "Dad, I'm not a kid anymore." "I know," I replied, "but I still worry." She dropped her backpack on the floor and sighed. "You always worry." She wasn't wrong. Fathers worry in silence most of the time. Not because they want to control, but because they remember how hard the world can be. She sat on the couch across from me. For a moment, neither of us said anything. Then she asked something unexpected. "Dad, when did you stop being scared?" The question surprised me. "Who said I stopped?" I asked. She frowned. "But you're always calm." I smiled a little. "That's because someone has to be." She thought about that. Then she asked quietly, "Are you scared for me?" "Yes," I said honestly. "Why?" "Because the world is unpredictable. Because people can hurt each other. Because mistakes sometimes leave marks that take years to fade." But I didn't say all that. Instead, I said something simpler. "Because I love you." She looked down at her hands. "You know," she said slowly, "when I was little, I thought you could protect me from everything." "I wish I could," I replied. She looked back at me. "But now I think maybe that's not your job." I raised an eyebrow. "Oh, I think your job is just to be there if something goes wrong." Her words were simple, but they hit deeper than she probably realized. She stood up to go to her room, but before walking away, she stopped. "Dad?" "Yes." "Are you still strong?" I smiled. "I hope so." She shook her head slightly. "No, I mean strong enough to let me figure things out." That question stayed in the room for a moment, because that kind of strength is harder. Much harder than lifting boxes, harder than fixing broken toys. It means watching your child walk into the world knowing you can't control what happens next, but trusting them anyway. "Yes," I finally said. "I think I'm learning." She smiled. A real smile. The kind she used to give when she was 5. Then she said something I'll probably remember for the rest of my life. "Good, because I think that's the strongest kind." And as she walked down the hallway, I realized something fathers rarely talk about. Strength isn't protecting your child from every fall. It's standing nearby while they learn to stand up.